Greetings, loved ones. I'm doing a different kind of a video today. This is going to look a little unusual to you, I'm sure. We're going to do a little short series here about camping gear, since it's something that seems to be a passion of mine, and there's lots of good stuff out there that I would love to relate to for you. So we'll call this little series Bigger on the Inside Goes Outside. And I want to introduce you to my individual mess kit. Okay, my cooking stuff. When I go out and do little, if I decide to do a little overnight road trip somewhere, and I don't have really a plan for where I'm going to stay or not sure what I'm going to do, then I like to have something available with me to cook for myself, even if it's just a little simple, something, a package of ramen for dinner and some coffee and a biscuit in the morning. But I always like to have cooking gear with me just in case. So this is my individual cooking kit that I'm going to introduce to you today. Now, the heart and soul of this kit is the Stanley Adventure Series 24-ounce camp cooking set. And I'm not going to do a whole review on this thing. There have been lots of them out there, lots of good stuff. I've come up with a couple little hacks on my own that you'll get to see about in the next couple of videos as well. But I just want to show this to you. It's a really nifty little pot here. Okay, 24-ounce, hash marked on this side. It's embossed actually, so you can see it on the outside, but you can also see it on the inside of the pot. I'll show you that in a second. But what we do is, it's got a little tension handle here that flips over to lock the lid down. Pull on that, it doesn't come up. Well, what you got to do is, you slide this little locking bar here, you give it a little pinch, that handle comes right over, boom, latches into place here. Slide that locking bar down again, that handle's not going anywhere. You can pick it up and move it around. Comes with this nifty lid. Love the lid. Stainless steel. The whole thing is stainless steel. The features to notice about the lid: steam vent hole here on one side, strainer holes on the other side if you're cooking something that you want to drain the water out of, pasta, what have you. And it's got this great little tab here on the top, little grab tab. It is made out of heavy-duty plastic, yes. I've heard lots of different YouTubers complain about that. Oh, it's going to melt. Well, the purpose of using these little types of survival type pots is not to set them directly in a fire. Okay, that's not how you cook at a camp out. You can either suspend them over a fire, or you can set them on hot coals once the fires have burned down. You get a more even cook that way and a more easily controllable temperature. If you're cooking on coals or suspended well over a fire, this little bit of plastic here is not going to melt. But if you really don't like it, there's a little pin right here. You can see it from both sides. All you got to do is poke at that with a paper clip. It'll slide right out. You can take the plastic tab off and put a key ring or whatever you want in there. Alright, now this lid leads me directly to the secondary piece of this wonderful little camp set, and that is this 18-ounce stainless steel cup, which the lid happens to fit perfectly on, so you can use your stainless steel cup as a smaller cook pot if you'd like. Go ahead and demonstrate here. This nice little cup. It's $5 at Walmart. Stainless steel, perfectly usable. Handles flip out just like this. There's lots of other cups out there that you can get from other suppliers. Range heavily in price. I've seen them more than 25 bucks sometimes, which seems sort of ridiculous. Okay, titanium maybe is a little more expensive. Well, so be it. But this is a great mug. The handles flip out and kind of lock into place there. Great for a pot handle, so you don't have to handle the hot cup. You can put your knuckle in there and drink it like a coffee cup. It's great multi-use. No hash marks in it or anything. No, nothing that designates how much liquid it takes. But, if you figure that, if you fill it a little bit less than halfway, it's an 18-ounce mug. So a little bit less than halfway is going to be about a cup, okay? You could actually fit an entire 16-ounce bottle of water in here and have a little bit of room left over. So I'm going to close those handles down. Showed you that. Showed you the pot. I'm going to close this over for a minute. We'll get back to this in a minute or two. Piece number 3 of my camping outfit is my stove. This is my lovely little stove here. This is 110 gram isobutane canister on a 3-legged stability tripod, so you can cook on the ground, not worry about the stove tipping over. This will run you about $5 at some place like Big Five. If you order them online, they're infinitely more expensive, and so I try to buy them in person whenever I can. The little stove unit that's on top of it, it's a great little stove. This is simply a regulator. This is made out of a combination of metals, I believe titanium, brass, stainless steel. But you've just got your little control valve here that lets however much gas you want to out. You turn it, open it up, let the gas, light it with a lighter, pop, you get a flame, flames come up, set your pot on there, boom, okay? It does wonders, cooks real well. This little sucker right here will boil 2 cups of water in usually under 3 minutes, depending on the temperatures that you're working with and the elevation that you're at. Great stove. Comes apart real easy. Little tripod here just pops off. It's got notches both for the smaller isobutane containers and the larger 200 plus gram ones as well. 240 I think they are. But this just folds up into a nice little triangle, and you set it off to the side. Get it out of the way. This stove, fold the arms up and then down the other way. Make sure that's screwed down tight. Flip the little arm up there and simply unscrew it. Nice and quick so it doesn't leak too much gas. I'm going to set that canister over there. These little stoves, you can get them all over the place. Different retailers, different online stores, they run you variety in price depending on what sort of features you want. This is the bare bones one. This is a basic one. I ordered this online. Including shipping, it cost me $4. So perfectly happy with it. It does the job, and it came with this great little velour bag. They all come with some sort of container. This one came with this great little bag that I absolutely adore. You slip it right in there. It's protected. It's not going to get dented and dinged up. And that brings me to my next 2 pieces of camp gear here. Got a little individual cup. Now, some of you may recognize this cup. This comes from the old school. There's a couple different versions of it. Mine is old school Ozark Trail aluminum camp cook kit, where it had a little frying pan and the plate and the little bowl and this in it. And this cup used to have a little handle that came out like this, boop, doop, and down, and you just kind of latched your finger up under it. It's a nice little cup, but that little handle got in the way sometimes, and it made it less packable. So my first little hack here for this is I cut the handle off, left about a half circle of it worth there, drilled a hole right in the middle, ran a key ring through it. Key ring folds nicely for compact packing, gets out of the way, but it's also great use if you need to use it as a cup. However you want to do it, you can hold on to it. It's fairly secure, add a thumb and a pinky there and holds it right in place, and you don't have to worry about, if there's something hot. It's also great if you got a kid with you. They can put their finger right through that loop there. It helps them hold on tight to the cup, and if they stumble or lose a grip on it or something, it's not going anywhere because it's wrung to their hand, just like that. Another great little feature about this cup is the fact that it is a measuring cup also. If you look on the inside there, you can see all those lovely little hash marks and probably read them: 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, 3/4 cup, 1 cup. All the various different measurements right up to the top of the cup to tell you how much water you've put in there so you can measure perfectly. Great little cup there. Now, and that adds to the fact that the hash marks on the Stanley, if you can see them here, my light's sort of glaring on them, but they are various different. It starts at 8 ounces, so if you need something smaller than that, you're kind of out of luck and have to eyeball it. This little cup here will allow you to measure exactly, and it's a wonderful tool there. Another little piece that I really, really enjoy is this fella right here. Some of you whiskey aficionados will recognize this by the logo and the shape and the look. This is the bottle topper for a 750 milliliter or 1/5 tin cup whiskey bottle. Little screw on there, screw right over the top of the bottle, fit nice. But this is a great little tool to use because, number one, it's stainless steel. Number two, it's measured out. If you look at where the threads begin and end, okay, top and bottom, there's another line in the middle. Okay, you can see where they do that there. There's another line in the middle. That line in the middle right there, and you can see it outside and inside the cup. See those nice little markings there, embossments. If you fill it right up to that middle one, that's 1 ounce. Look at that. And if you continue to fill it right up to the bottom of the lip of the cup, that's 1.5 ounces. So you got a nice little measuring device here as well if you need even smaller quantities, or you have a shot glass with you if you need that. Set that off to the side. Last few pieces. This is one of my favorite little pieces, and doesn't get enough attention because this is the kind of thing that I've watched probably hundreds of videos about using these various different stoves, and not one of them have had something like this that they've added to it, just like what I've done. This here little stove, if you look at it, there's more compact versions especially are 3-armed, okay? You got 3 arms here, so when you're talking about putting a cup or something, especially this guy here, because the bottom is tapered in, you've got a smaller surface area, and when you put that on that little tripod of arms, there's going to be lots of spaces where it could potentially slide one way or the other. The little grippy teeth on there kind of help, but you're putting that on there, that's going to give you not a whole lot to go on, and if something happens, somebody even just jostles it a little bit, it can topple. So my solution to that, any of you computer geeks out there might recognize this, it's missing a few pieces, one little screw loop on each corner, but this is basically the grate that covers the back of a fan on a PC tower unit. Perfect size for this little stove. These little wonderful little grippy teeth work wonders for grabbing hold of the rings on this and providing a nice stable base for you to put your cooking pots on. Either way, sits on there real nice, holds it in place, and it's a lot more stable. If it gets a little off center, it's still going to stay on there. And that's definitely a concern, especially with this little tall guy here, because when this handle is extended, it can overbalance in that direction. So that piece there, also an important accoutrement. So now we'll fold this back up, put it back in the bag, and my last couple little pieces here you already saw. You always want to be able to start a fire. Just a nice reliable little lighter to have. You might keep matches also as well, just as a side option in case this runs out. But I like to get the ones that have the clear body, so you can actually see how much fluid is in it and know if you need a replacement. Set that off to the side. Here's your morning beverage. The best part of waking up is your caffeine, and so it's always handy to carry a couple of these if you're going to be overnight. You've got something to warm up and keep you going in the morning, and that way you're not worried about falling asleep on the road or whatever. Last little piece here. This is an interesting little piece that I sort of also came up with a creative mod for. This, once upon a time, was a one-piece UCO spoon-fork combo. Okay, I did a little cutting on it, but that's mostly what it looked like originally, minus all the cuts and chunks. Okay, just a nice little thing here. So I cut it about in half so that the holes would line up and I could stack it nice and compactly. Now these little guys are certainly usable on their own. There's enough there that you can get a good grip of it with your thumb and forefinger. You can use your spoon effectively, you can use your fork effectively. They're not going to make great stirring utensils for your pots or whatever. But if you're using the short pot, you don't really need much more than the spoon. But there is a little trick that you can do if you just need a little bit more grip to them, or you got a little kid with you or something like that. I keep them tied up with a cut rubber band, and what I do is I just run the rubber band through each hole here. I'll show you that. And I twist it up here, and of course it's how it works. But you just run the rubber band through the holes there like this, so they overlap, and the rubber band stops the one utensil from going one direction and the other one from going the other. And all you got to do is give it a little twist, wrap it around. You can tie it if you want to, but you don't need to, because once you've got it tied around and it's nice and grippy, that's how you're holding the utensil anyway. So you've got your fork here, you got your spoon here, the rest of it's in your hand, it's nice and solid. One last little thing I want to show you that many YouTubers miss. Okay, these little forks, these great little utensils, I hear a lot of YouTubers talking about how, we've got the fork and spoon combo, but we got to carry a knife with us too, and da-da-da-da-da, and the reality is, no, you don't, okay? This little fork right here has these nifty little serrations on it. See those guys right there? What that means is you can use this particular utensil one side or the other. This other side will work pretty good too. It's not serrated. It's not super sharp, but you can use it to spread butter or jelly, something like that. But this one here is serrated like a little bit sharper version of a butter knife. You can actually use that to cut your food. So you don't really need to have an eating knife when you've got one of these guys with you. They provide it for you. Now we let it unwrap. We're going to go ahead and tie it back up here. And last but not least, my lovely bandana here. You always want to have a bandana with you. Some sort of cotton cloth that can be utilized for a variety of functions, from cushioning to clean up, to just wearing it on your head to prevent the sweat from dripping in your eyes. A tourniquet, bandage, whatever you might need it for. Tear a little strip off to start a fire kindling if you need to do that. But the best part of this whole setup is its compactness, and I'm going to show you that part now. You've probably seen something like this before, but I'm going to show you how I do it here, just so you have an idea. This is, as I said, this is the heart and soul of the kit. So you open this sucker up, pop that handle out of the way, set the lid off to the side. I'll leave it right there. Now, okay, inside this pot, the very first thing you're going to put is your coffee. And I'll explain why in a minute. But you take your little coffee or tea or whatever you got there, you set them right down in the bottom, opposite each other, curled into the corner. I'll show you. It looks a little something like that. And there's a reason that you're going to do that. And some of you may have already figured this out. But you're going to do that because you've got your gas canister here. Now, most of them come with a little lid. You want to be careful if you're not using one with a lid, because the lid protects the screw threads and the nozzle there, so you're not doing it any damage. You pop the lid back onto your canister, and what you're going to do is you're going to take that canister and you're going to put it nose down so that the middle rests right between those coffee packets. It's going to sit right down in. You don't do it this way because it'll get stuck. The rim will get stuck in the bottom because it's narrower. So you do it upside down, you drop it in there, and this way this will nestle right down to the bottom of the can, and this empty space that remains will be filled up with your nice little drink packet. So you set it in. Sometimes it'll drop all the way. If it doesn't, just give it a little push, and down it goes to the bottom. And look at that nice little concave space. What are we going to do with all that usable storage space? Well, I'll tell you. The next thing we're going to put in here is our nice little measuring cup. Because it is so wonderfully packable, if it had the old handle on it, it wouldn't fit in there. I mean, it might, but it would take up a lot more space, and it would leave a lot more empty space. So we fold the key ring in, and we drop this sucker right on down into that concave space. Look at that. Oh my goodness gracious, look at all that usable space. What shall we fill it with? Well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our little stove that's in the velour bag. We're going to zip it up like that. We're going to flip that zipped up edge down, and we're going to put it inside good old tin cup here. We're going to slide that right on down into that cup. Look at that, fits just nice. And we're going to drop that right here into little Mr. Measuring Cup. And if you'll notice, you got still space on the sides if you want to add dry creamer packets, sugar, salt and pepper, maybe even a ramen seasoning packet or something like that. Lots of different options for stuff that you can fit in there, and use that little bit of space to just make your life a little bit easier. Next, right on top of that, we have our folded tripod. All folded up nicely. It fits right on top. A nice little measuring man there, and tops that space off very prettily. Just like that. Might sit at a little bit of an angle. That's okay because of what we're going to be putting in there next. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take our nestled utensils. The spoon is the big spoon, and the fork is the little spoon. We're going to run our elastic strap right through the hole here. Pull that through, and the way I do it is I just pull it through till it's even, roughly even on both sides. Wrap it around a couple times, and because it's stretchy, I can stretch these apart a little bit, tuck that rubber band right in there, and then just give it a little tug. Everything stays nice and secure, holds together great, and that way you're not losing any of your utensils. You put it in here, fat side down, so that you're again maximizing space. Tuck it right in there like that, and then you're going to take your lighter and you're going to put that right in there next. Look, they're neighbors. Oh, they're roommates. Ooh, well, maybe we should leave them alone. I don't know. But we're going to tuck that right in there. And last but not least, our lovely little grate. Oh, I made a mess. Last but not least, our lovely little grate is going to go right on the top. Looks like it sets a little funny, but when we pop the lid on here, guess what happens? We pop the lid on, everything sits just pretty. We slide the locking bar away from the handle, we pinch, we lift, we settle it, we slide that locking bar back down toward the hinge, and your lid snaps into place nicely. Everything's self-contained. Okay, nothing's going anywhere, very little sound at all, no rattle to speak of. And the last little bit of wonderfulness to put this all together is we're going to take this pretty bandana and we're going to fold it over, and we're going to wrap that sucker right around Mr. Stanley Cookpot. Wrap it around nice. Doesn't have to be super snug or anything like that. Just make it, overlap itself some. And we're going to take our nesting cup here, because that's what these are called, because they're designed to fit other stuff in them. And watch this. We take our little cook pot here and we sort of screw it in, get that, slide it down a little bit so we can tuck it in there. And then as we're putting it down inside, we just give it a little twist so it stays nice and even. And look what you got there. You got yourself a fully nestled food preparation kit. Not going anywhere, not sliding out. Comes apart fine when you need it to. You can move it around, but this is going to stay nice and snug in transit. All your stuff sits right in here. Well, that's my gig for today. I just wanted to share that with you. Any of you who are considering getting outside and doing a little camping, this is the way to do it. And like I said, the heart and soul is this Stanley Adventure Series Camp Cook Set. Comes with some little nesting cups, insulated nesting cups in it that I didn't include with this kit. They're going to be in another video that you see after this, but this is the one that I wanted you guys to see. I hope this is informative. I hope it was enjoyable to watch, and I hope if you have an opportunity to get outside and enjoy nature, fresh air, sunshine, or clouds and rain, if you like those. I happen to myself. And this right here will help you get you on your way, maybe help you come up with some own creative ideas of how to set yourself up so that you can do a little camping, little cooking, whether it's in the woods or on the side of the road or out in the desert, wherever you happen to be. Thanks so much. Have fun outside, and don't forget, I love you. Have a great day.